And hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Pelican Sports Report. Delighted to be joined by Buckeye Lady Panthers head coach Justin Kees. Coach, welcome.
Well, thank you for having us.
Look, first of all, congratulations on that big win. I know it's always great to get to get the playoffs started with a big win.
Yeah, we played well last night. We had Acadiana Renaissance Charter Academy. They came in after run ruling their first round opponent, and they came out pretty strong in the first inning and held us scoreless. And they actually got out of a bases loaded, no out jam, and with our 4-5-6 hitters coming up, and they got out of that pretty good. So hats off to them. And then we came out the second inning and started getting the bats going a little bit and had a pretty successful second inning and got it rolling for us.
Do you think there was a little bit of nerves in that and a little rust off the layoff?
We had a little bit of overthinking a lot of times, and we had, like I said, bases loaded, no out, and we just started kind of thinking too much and not being us and not swinging at good pitches. And once we got through that first inning, calmed the nerves a little bit, and then the bat started rolling. The bottom of the lineup helped us a lot yesterday. So,
Coach, you talk about, and you made a statement there, we weren't being us. You guys have been very successful the last several years down there. Does that play into a little bit of, hey, we've been here before. This is what we have to do. Let's get to work.
Yeah, the girls know what it takes to get to Sulphur and what we need to do, and they know the expectations are high, and so they got to take care of business. And so they've been there before, so it's not a nerves thing as far as getting there. It's just an expectation thing. And you can feel pressure. These seniors don't want to be that senior class that doesn't make it to Sulphur, and so they live with that every day. So they put a little pressure on themselves, a little too much pressure sometimes, but no, they know what it takes to get down there. They just got to execute.
You've got a mix of it, which it seems like you always do. Veteran leadership and then some younger players that are contributing too. Has there been some adjustments because you lost some key figures off your team last year? What's that adjustment been like?
Yeah, we lost 4 seniors last year that played prominent roles. 3 All-State players, 4 All-District players, different things like that. When they graduated out, we had to find new leadership, and what we're trying to find out through the year is we got people like Addison Mitchell and Ricky Nitz that lead by example. They're not going to be big vocal leaders, but they're going to do everything the right way, and they're going to make sure everything falls in line and everybody does their part the right way. But then with that, you got holes to fill that people like Liv Henry and Allison Brosette did, the vocal leadership. And we got some young girls that are starting to do that. Riley Ryan and Rosalie Ritchie are starting to lead vocally. They're starting to talk that talk and get people going and stuff. So it's taken us a while. It's taken us almost 33 games to try to get it figured out, but they're starting to come around.
Our first introduction to Ricky Nitz was that big home run that she had in that West Washita game, and we'd posted the video on there too. And just a great young lady had reached out to us and thanked us for it and said that's something that she would cherish. But you can tell she speaks softly but carries that big bat.
She does. She's batting about 440 or so for us on the season with those 5 home runs. And what's funny is she's always had a great stick in the lineup, but she hadn't had a home run since her freshman year. So she's gone her sophomore and her junior year with not hitting home run. Now she hit the big blue wall a lot at Buckeye, probably 10 or 15 times during that period, but just never elevated enough to get it out. And then this year she's come around, and it's like I said, she's hit 5. She hit that big walk-off 2-run bomb against West Washita in extra innings. She's hit some extra. She's hit another home run that walked off a game earlier in the season too. So she's come a long way, and we're very proud of what she's doing.
You got a couple of basketball players that came in after their deep run that they made. I think St. P is out in center field for you. How has that mindset been with them as they mix in and say, okay, here we've made a run in it. Now we think we can make a deeper run in softball.
Yeah, These at Buckeye, what we're blessed to have is we have multi-sport athletes across the board. We have, I think there's 6 or 7 girls that are going to be competing tomorrow in the district track meet. We got girls that play basketball. I think I had 7 girls on the basketball team this year.
Right.
We, 3 girls that compete in powerlifting, 2 of which that compete at the state level. And so we share a lot of athletes, and that's a good problem to have. That means they compete at different levels. We talk about basketball. Sadie St. Pay was the District 3A MVP this year, all-state basketball kid. Comes off the court and goes straight into softball and has produced tremendously, batting like 370 on the season right now on the leadoff spot for us, and it's hit I think 6 home runs off the leadoff spot. So she's done tremendous for us. Rosalie Ritchie, our shortstop, was a 3rd place in state at powerlifting. So these kids compete at the highest level. My second baseman is one of the better javelin throwers in the area. So they compete in multiple things. Sadie will actually compete at state in powerlifting. I mean, in pole vault as well. So, it's good to have multiple sport athletes that want to compete.
What did that do to you at the first of the season, though, when and you're excited about it, but as they make that deep run in the playoffs in basketball, it leaves you pretty short-handed at the first of the spring.
Yeah, when we the first games when you're playing, you have a Hall of Fame game against Kaplan, and you're missing kids. It end up being a 0-0 ball game, and then you play your first game of the season. You open up with Pineville, who goes from the first pitch of the season to the last pitch of the season as the number 1 ranked team in Division I Select.
Right.
We're doing that without key basketball players in those positions, and Ashley Bellegarde and Sadie St. Pay and Natalie Graves are out during that time. So, it makes it tough, but these kids, it forces the younger ones to step up and play, and they're not playing, lesser schools. They're playing, like I said, they're playing Pinevilles. They're playing Grant and Tioga's the next weekend, Winfield the next week, without those basketball kids. So it's tough, but I think it's made us stronger in the long run. Anytime you can get kids to just compete and, have to fight for what they earned, makes you a better team.
Look, you mentioned the name Natalie Grace. Folks that watch the show a lot and watch the Buckeye Sports on 446 Sports know that name. She was just out busy hitting a 3-pointer to win a basketball game down at Frederick Douglass.
Yeah. Nat, in December, they were playing, I think, in the Manny tournament, and she actually tore her UCL. So that's that ligament. You heard of Tommy John surgery. That's that ligament that she tore. And they've opted not to have surgery to rehab it. And they rehabbed, and Nat's such a tough competitor. They rehab, and she was going 3-4 times a week rehabbing. She could barely shoot a basketball the week before the playoffs started. She gets out there, and she does well in that opening round game. And then they go down to Frederick Douglass, and when they try to take away St. Pay and Allie West, who's another player for us, if in softball, Nat decided to step up and take the team on her shoulders, and she hit, I think it was either 4 or 5 threes, ended up with like 18 points, and she's doing this with a torn UCL in her shooting arm. So now when it comes to softball with that, she's still not able to really throw the ball much. You'll see her with us running bases. We're just still trying to rehab to get her ready, mainly trying to get her ready for next year in basketball and softball. So for us, she's just going to she's still not 100%. She's still struggling through throwing a softball, those mechanics. So she's going to run bases for us, and she's very good on the base paths.
Look, we saw that in the couple of games that we saw personally as well. And folks that are watching will say, well, Doug, what does basketball have to do with anything? Well, one, like you said, it shows that they're well-rounded athletes. But I'm going to tell you what, it's a competitive bunch, and that translates over to the diamond, this competition, because when you get and start making your way to Sulphur, you're battling and you're fighting every inning, every day.
Yep. Yeah, it's nothing's easy once you get to this point. Once you get to the quarterfinals, especially, there's nothing easy. And so these girls have been battle tested. They know they've been in tough situations in other sports, and this will be their their 4th straight quarterfinal appearance. So they know what it takes to to compete at that level and play in hostile environments. A lot of these girls were on this team that went to the quarterfinal in Lutcher in 2022, so they know what it's like to play in hostile environments in any sport. So it's very good. Always encourage your kids to play multi-sports, guys. That's all I'm going to say. Hey, don't hold back, kids. Encourage your kids to play multi-sports. Move your season around, move schedules around, whatever you need to do to make sure these kids can play multi-sports.
Look, and what they've got to be careful of is not extending these seasons too far out where they overlap there here in the schools, because that causes even more chaos.
Yeah. They every time we ask to extend the season or change the season, we keep getting pushed on the front end, and it's just not helping because we got kids that play soccer. You're going to overlap into that. A lot of these sports teams and softball, their kids play soccer. Their kids are in cheerleading. I think 4 in cheerleading as well. You move to the front, now you're running into the basketball season and all that. So we got to do something. Baseball got that pass where they're moving stuff back 2 weeks. So hopefully the next voting cycle next year, they'll do that for softball and move it back 2 weeks. Because at the end of the day, it's about these kids. It's not our accomplishments. It's not what's best for us as coaches. It's what's best for these kids. It's their 4 years. It's not mine. Let these kids play as many sports as they can.
Look, and that's great wisdom on there too. And first time ever you talk about the seasons getting pushed back. This is the first time that I can remember that baseball season ended before softball season did, and that boggles my mind.
Yeah, it started a week earlier and ended a week earlier, but they're into that series for most of the classifications. Series from the first pitch of the playoffs to the last. They're in a 3-game series. So
yep, Division 1 through 4. We'll do that all the way to the championship.
Yep, they're just doing that one series per round. So that's 5 weeks of playoffs.
You talk about a little bit of rain could cause some havoc in that.
Yeah, softball, we get 2.5 weeks for playoffs. That's from the first playoff game to the state championships on that Saturday. 2.5
Look,
weeks.
that's why we've aptly named things the dash for Fresh. This isn't a slow grind. They're after it quick.
Yeah, we get after it pretty quick, and we got to be ready to play quick turnovers. There's no you don't have a Thursday, Friday, Saturday slate. You got to get that brackets come out Wednesday. A lot of those teams played on Thursday, turn around, play Monday, Tuesday this week, and Friday, Saturday this week, and move on.
And then you're working your way down to sulfur on there. How difficult is the logistics of things too? Because you don't want to get ahead of yourself and reach out to a team that's a potential next round opponent, because then you end up sitting at home.
Yeah. No, you got to worry. You got to worry about the game that's on your schedule. Now, the moment that game ends, you got to start looking to both opponents if they haven't played already and try to figure out what's the best. You're looking at weather because, it's Louisiana in the springtime, crazy things happen. And you got a 3-4 day window to get those games in. And if you miss that window, that's on you. So you got to make sure you get everything going.
Okay, so you look at rain potential like there is tonight and tomorrow. Now, softball, I think it's not going to affect as much because you guys could sneak in about an hour and a half window and get a game in pretty quick. But what happens if it comes Wednesday at midnight and your game's not played? Yeah,
unless you can get approval from the LHSA at the end about a extra day postponement. If you don't get it approved to play that extra day, it could end up being a double forfeit if you don't get those games in at that time. So if the weather starts getting bad, you got to be contacting the LHSA, talking about potential this way or that way, and hopefully they grant you that extra day.
I bet there are a number of teams wishing they would have went yesterday.
Yeah. Yesterday was a good day to go. So, you're going to be dodging a lot. You don't want to wait to that last day, especially in the springtime, because it might be sunshiny 3 days out, and then come that day, it might be pouring rain. You never know.
You're exactly right. Well, look, let's look at your schedule a little bit. Ahead of you is the winner of the 5-12. You guys will be at home. You'll be back at Lady Panther Park there, and that's been such a great environment this year. We've seen it a lot through when Darren and Josh make it out there, and it's been a great thing. What do? Do you go down? Are you heading down to look at that game tonight?
No, we usually don't. I'm not big on traveling to go scout people. what I've done for 16 years is I just want to know how fast their pitcher is, who's their best player, can we run on their catcher, and that's about it. And after that, it's all about what we do. I just need to know those basics, and then we'll figure out the rest on that.
And look, no matter what, and this has been an age-old debate too, whether you could watch 100 tapes on somebody, but if you don't go out and execute, it doesn't matter.
Correct. If we don't do what we need to do, it doesn't matter. We can get beat by anybody on any day if we don't do what we need to do. So we got to be prepared. If we are prepared like we were yesterday, we should be okay. But if we come out flat, we can get beat by anybody.
So we did our bracket release show the other night, and every time I looked at a bracket, I would say, "Oh, this bracket's the toughest," or "This bracket's the toughest." We got to this bracket, and now North Shore Mike, who's new to the program this year, said that his lock to win the state title was Laranger, and that's a potential next round opponent for you. And you texted me right after that and said, "You know what? We appreciate that."
Yeah, Laranger is a good program. If you just look in our division, the top dog to beat is Vanderbilt Catholic.
That's correct.
They're the defending state champion. They got no seniors on that roster. Their pitcher can throw it. I think she's the Nichols commit. We faced her as an 8th grader a couple years ago. Had a tough battle with her. Vanderbilt's the team to beat. They're the ones that got the bullseye on them, and rightfully so. They're the best team in this division from the first pitch till right now. So taking nothing away from Laranger or anybody else, but we're chasing Vanderbilt. Everybody in this bracket is chasing them right now.
Another powerhouse in there down at your side of the bracket, I think. No, the other side of the bracket is E.D. White. Yep. That's in there as well. Another perennial powerhouse.
We faced E.D. White the last 2 years in the playoffs, 2 years ago in the quarters at our place, and then last year it was a 3-2 battle in the semis, and we were lucky up. We scored those 3 runs in the first inning and held on. But they got an ace in the circle, one of the best pitchers in the state, and they're tough to beat. And the problem is, go look at who they played the last 2 weeks. They probably playing the toughest schedule in the state last 2 weeks, and they've, I think, won them all. So
that's one thing that we've seen that I don't think you see as much in baseball. You see a little more jockeying, and people will start scheduling games on there. You put you guys in softball load the back end of the schedule a lot, and there's some talented games, talented softball that's played in the last week or so.
Yeah, for the teams in the state that care about winning championships and being there in Sulphur, they're not PowerPoint chasing. They're not doing anything like that. They're going after the best teams in the state because at that point, when you're that far in the season, the points really ain't going to move that much.
Correct.
You might drop one spot here, go up one spot. You're not going to go up 4 or 5. So what you're trying to do is make your team better. You want your pitchers to face the best hitters in the state, and you want your hitters to face the best pitchers in the state. And you ain't worried about the wins or losses at the end of the season. You're worried about getting yourself better for that playoff push.
Absolutely. I know you and your ladies had practice this morning. Are you working just fundamentals in that until you know your opponent, or what was a 8 to 10 practice this morning like?
Yeah. Today we just tried to work on getting ourselves better. Not worry about, we didn't go over either potential opponent. We just went over what we needed to do to get better, which was fundamentals on ground balls, fundamentals on backhands, outfield working their fundamental footwork, different things like that. And then we hit a little bit for about an hour, just trying to work on driving the ball the opposite way, which we have not been doing the best of here lately. So that's what we tried to work on today. When you get them out there at 8 in the morning after a big win like last night, they kind of drag a little bit, but they got it going the second half of practice and looked pretty good to finish off. So
when you look at this season, Coach, what is the one thing you think that surprised you that you say, you know what, I didn't expect this back in December and January when we were starting all of this?
Well, when you win 2 in a row and runner-up 1, you go in all these tournaments and you get loaded with the opponents in the tournaments, which is fine. And our girls came out and battled every weekend like it was just another game on the schedule. You got We had a few big wins on weekend games. That was on Saturday games that I was pleased with. The West Washita win. They're a very talented bunch. Don't be surprised if they're not in Sulphur competing for a state title in that group. They are loaded offensively,
and that's a big time division they're in too.
That that was a back and forth game. I think we went up 3-0. They came back 3-2. Then they went up, and then we came back and tied it back and forth and went into extras. That was a big one. I was pleased on how we competed against LaSalle, who's another number one team in the state. We ended up in a shootout with them on a Saturday. I think 37 combined hits in that game. So every time they got a hit, we got a hit. Our girls didn't lay down, so that's what I was pleased with on that. So it's just those big games. Our annual battles with Tioga. We split the series this year. They're coached up really well. Coach Woodard and his staff has them rolling right now. So I was pleased on how we came out because they beat us at the beginning of the year. So they beat us 6-1, and I was pleased on how we came out and we answered. We took a couple big innings from them, and we battled back and ended up taking the game at the end. So those are three games that really stick out to me on how well we played. And so even like the Benton game, we played Benton in the Calvary tournament, going to extras on them. We get out of – this is another point that I was proud of. We got Benton had bases loaded, no outs in the bottom of the seventh inning, and we get out of that jam with no runs given up in a 7-7 ball game, and we go score one in the top of the eighth and win it 8-7 in extras. That was Addison Mitchell pitched probably the best game of her life there. And then I gave her about a week and a half off because she left everything out on the field that night. So rested her up for that playoff push. So those are four games that jump out at me of how proud I am of these kids.
Being around baseball my whole life, it just amazes me the toughness of these softball pitchers, and at such an early age too. We were down at Pine Prairie yesterday, and of course Coach Alicia Hebert had nothing but great things to say about you and the program, of course. But they've got a freshman pitcher out there, Ware, that's just killing it. So how is it at such an early age, 14, 15 years old, that these girls are able to go out there and compete with 16, 17, 18-year-olds?
Well, they're getting better. They're getting better on techniques and throwing like that. But what it comes down to mostly is what they got inside of them, that grit, that determination. You can't teach that. You can't teach that. Liv Henry at a young age wanted the ball in big situations. Addison Mitchell this year, she wants the when it matters the most because she wants to be the one to determine the outcome. Either she's going to be the one bringing us to victory, or she's going to be the one that is going to take the result if we lose on her shoulders. She doesn't want anybody else to take the blame but her. So you want kids like that in the circle, the ones that aren't going to blame anybody else, ain't going to point fingers, and when the win comes, they pass the praise to others. That's a unique circle, big times like that.
Look, it looks like that defense is in 100% support of her too, because I've seen them make plays all year long.
Yep. When your pitcher's throwing like that, your defense is going to make plays. They're going to lay out. They don't want that ball to drop when she's on the throwing like that. So you got kids, Rosalie Ritchie and Sadie St. making outstanding plays left behind her, Bella Boone as well. So they want to make sure that they're solid defense behind it.
Well, Coach Justin Kees, we appreciate you taking time out after practice today to visit with us. You guys are poised for another run, and that's leadership, and that's the difference in a program and a team. And out at Buckeye, the Lady Panthers certainly have built a program.
Well, thank you. It started with years ago. Coach Wiley took those teams. I think it was 7 or 8 straight trips to Sulphur, and that's our goal, is to make Sulphur an annual event like LSU baseball in Omaha. You plan your vacations around it. I want my parents to plan their vacations around Sulphur every year, so that's our goal.
Well, there you go. We're excited about it. We've booked our rooms already for Sulphur, so we're going to go down there and continue our wall-to-wall coverage of there. We certainly appreciate you taking the time to join us on the Dash for Frash. And anything you have to say to my buddy Mike on North Shore, now's your opportunity.
I think he does a great job, and hopefully I'll get to meet him soon. Maybe we can talk this weekend.
He'll be down there for sure with us. Thanks a lot, Coach. We appreciate you.
Thank you.